Now we will discuss Canto 1, Chapter 2, verses 17 till 22. Share screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimvatastakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Vidyantatsto Yabadrani Vidunoti Satam. See Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. So in the previous verse, we heard Shushrusho Shaldam Syavaste Devakataruchi Syanmat Sevyavita Punyatirtha Shivana. Shushrusho, hearing, and Shadadana means, Srila Prabhupada explains, Shadadana means eager to hear. So this is the qualification, he writes, for realizing the absolute truth, eagerness to hear. Such Shraddha should be imbued with Jnana, Vairagya, and Bhakti. Jnana means we are a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. Vairagya means everything belongs to Krishna, not to us. And Bhakti means then we use everything and offering it to love and with love to Krishna. So it should be imbued with Jnana, Vairagya, and Bhakti, and performed according to Shruti, we heard, according to the descriptions in the scriptures, how to perform devotional service. And then, when you do that, you can get Brahma Darshan. You can get Pashantatmani Chatmanam. You can see the Atma and the soul of the soul, or the super soul. So we need to be very eager to hear Shushrusha. That's very important. Hear the message of Krishna from a pure devotee. Whatever position you are in society, it doesn't matter. You should act to please Lord Krishna, we heard before. Samsiddhir Hari Toshanam, by hearing, chanting, remembering, and worship Krishna. That's the process. Especially remembering, because the intelligent person carries the sword of remembrance of Krishna and is able to cut through the heart knot. Today we will hear a lot about the heart knot in the heart and how Krishna is going to help us cut it. Here we read Srimvata Svakata Krishna. Sutta says Svakata Krishna. Only Krishna, only chanting and hearing about Krishna and nobody else. Just as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamikam Sramvacha, surrender unto me only. Here the same thing is only Krishna Katha, hearing about Krishna. And if you do this, Punya Shravana Kirtana. Punya is pious activity, simply to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to hear the holy name of Krishna. So everyone, without discrimination, can simply hear of Krishna. This is the age of Kali. Everything is impious. How do we become purified? Sutta Goswami says, Redyantas doya badrine vidunoti sarit satam. Is cleansing all the abhadras, all the inauspicious things from the heart. So Krishna is in our heart. You are chanting and hearing about Krishna. If you had a camera in your heart and you are hearing and chanting about Krishna, then what is Krishna doing in your heart? What picture comes up in your heart? How is it happening? Of course, Krishna is already there just by his presence. All the anarthas are afraid. They are running away. So light comes from Krishna and darkness is going away. Jnana Dipena Sarvata. It's like Krishna is there with his Sudarshan chakra. Krishna is smiling and softening your heart simply by his glance. So Lord Kapila Dev gives us this picture. He says, there is a mountain of sin in the heart, and when you see the lotus feet of the Lord, then thunderbolts are destroying the mountain. What exactly are these 30 things in the heart? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Matsaya, Mada, Moha, a more subtle desire for profit and distraction, pride. Nobody can be happy in this world because they have all these things in the heart. They are accepting something which is asat, which is for their enjoyment. But we are asat. We cannot be happy with the asat. When we associate with asat, then we have all these dirty things coming along with that association. It is very difficult to be free from material desires. Srila Prabhupada in the purport explains how a devotee becomes strong. That this is in the second paragraph here, near the end. So it said, the Lord is more anxious to take us back into the kingdom, into his kingdom, that we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a few men want to go back to Godhead, but anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respect. But then the last sentence of the next paragraph there, but one is helped by the Lord himself. The whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. So we have three things in the heart: the Lord, ourselves, and the dirty things. But these dirty things we need to get rid of to progress on the path of bhakti. So Krishna is described here, Surit Satam. He is the intimate friend of the devotees, of the sadhus. He reveals himself as ever newer. These verses are for the devotees who are endeavoring in spiritual life. So what is going to happen next? So first we hear about Krishna and serve the Mahatma, who instructs us to hear, chant, and remember about Krishna. And then Krishna from within the heart is starting to remove the dirty things. And what happens then? That text 18. Nastabe Sabatri Nikyam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavata Tamaske Bhakti Bhakti Naistiki. By regular attendance of the classes in classes on Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of Godhead through his praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. So I read the first sentence of the purport. Here is the remedy for eliminating all of inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles on the path of self-realization. The remedy is the association of the Bhagavatas. So we have to endeavor to chant, to hear, and serve the Bhagavatas. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, in a lecture in Los Angeles in 1972, Srila Prabhupada explains the word Bhagavat. Bhagavat means in relation to Krishna. We do Bhagavat Sevaya, not Bhagavan Sevaya. We must go through the Bhagavatas to reach Bhagavan. Of course, we also understand that this Bhagavat is non-different from Krishna. It is the sound incarnation. We can't see Krishna right now, and therefore we approach Krishna through the book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. As we know, Lord Shiva was telling Parvati when she asked, what is the highest worship? Aradnam sarvisham Vishnu shradanam param tasma partaram tadiyam aradam tadiyam. So there are different kinds of worship, but the best and the supreme worship of Vishnu, then so the best worship is worship of Vishnu, but more than Vishnu worship is a worship of the devotee of Vishnu, the Vaishnavas. This is recommended in the Shiva Purana. So, Tadiyam Aradhanam. Tadiyam means those things in relation to Krishna. So Tadiyam means Bhagavat. In his lecture Srila Prabhupada used Tadiya and Bhagavat as the same thing. The book Bhagavat is a sound incarnation of Bhagavan, and the devotee is the mercy of Lord Krishna. So we serve both of them. Then we can get the mercy and also the Lord himself. Srila Prabhupada in a lecture says, Nityam. We should constantly, somehow or other, mold our lives so that we can always think, that we can always hear in Srimad Bhagavatam. There should be not a single moment that we are not engaged in Bhagavat Sevaya. This means also, Srila Prabhupada mentions the Bhagavatam, the Gita, the spiritual master, Tulsi, the temple preaching, the books, they are all Bhagavat. This is a very expanded understanding of the word Bhagavat by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says that if we always remember the Srimad Bhagavatam, then Nasta Bprs and Bprs too. All the dirty things will be taken out of the heart. It says in the translation, almost completely and almost all. Vayesha means not quite all. Most of them, most of the dirty things are taken out. Something is left. Something is left. Srila Prabhupada uses this verse to say that we should not criticize a devotee who has some faults. He may have still a few abhadras, but still we should not criticize. He's still a sadhu. He may be not strictly following the rules by accident, but still we learn from Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatna 9:31. If he is engaged in devotional service, then very quickly becomes purified. Prayesu, not all the dirty things are quite finished. Srila Prabhupada explains in percentage how much of the dirty things are finished. In the same lecture on this verse in LA 1972, Prayesu means 75% of all the dirty things, he says. That, those of you who are mathematicians and have a logical brain and who want to be precise and exact, 75% of all the dirty things are taken out of your heart. This is about the levels of Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrittisya. Anartha Nivritti means that almost all dirty things are finished. And when all the dirty things are finished, then we can come to the level of Nishtha, Bhaktir Bhavati Naistki. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes these two verses in Madhurya Kandambini, Srimvata Svakatakshna, and Nastabeza Bhatrasu. In the first verse, Srimvata Svakatakshna refers to the unsteady Anistita Bhakti. So that means unsteady bhajana kriya. unsteady devotional service. When you have 9 problems, you can check that in Madhurya Kanambini, what are these 9 problems? There are symptoms describing unsteady devotional service, Visaya Sankhara, fight with the senses, Niyamaksam, inability to uphold vows, Utsamayi, false confidence, Pudya Vikalpa, indecision, Gana Tavala, sporadic endeavor, Taranga Rangini, enjoying the facilities offered by Bhakti. Shrimvatasvakata Krishna, this is the level of Bhajana Kriya. We haven't come yet to Anartha Nivritti. Nastabhya Bprs, this is Anartha Nivritti. A small portion of the Anarthas is still not destroyed. After Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, one comes to Nishtita or Nishta. Nishta is defined as having the quality of steadiness. The 5 obstacles you have in Bhajana Kriya are not present in Nishta. So these 5 problems of Bhajana Kriya, sleep, distraction, indifference, disinterest in spiritual topics, the tendency towards bad habits, which means lust, anger, greed, and all these things, and taste for material enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada in lecture, you must be free from 90% of all material desires to go back to Godhead. Later he said 80 to 75%, but not less. If we can get at least to Nishta, then we have a hope to go back to Godhead. So Krishna must uphold the words of his pure devotee. If we are attached to following Srila Prabhupada, then we are 70% pure. He will take us back to Godhead. At least you have to come to this level, 75%. Kantya Padjanya Nami Bhaktya Pranashriti. My devotee will never perish. Srila Prabhupada says that this means that the word of a pure devotee must also be upheld by Krishna. This gives us some hope in these very difficult verses. Also, Lord Chaitanya, he made it so easy. The holy name is Krishna, and there are no rules. You can chant anytime and anywhere. Because we are so unfortunate, we do not have attraction. Therefore, Shrimvata Svakata Krishna, hear about Krishna. Svakata, Krishna words are about Krishna, which means Srimad Bhagavatam. That is what we have to do. Now, what is this Nishta? Srila Prabhupada gives an example. Little Saraswati, the daughter of Malati, was with Srila Prabhupada in 1972, 73, 74, and she would go to people and say, do you know who Krishna is? And she would answer, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She was chanting Hare Krishna, and one boy came to her and said, why are you chanting? And little Saraswati gave him a slap. Srila Prabhupada said, this is Nishta. She could not be deviated from the chanting. The same thing was taught by Rupa Goswami, Tandera Sharana Seva, Sani Bhakti Vas. Serve the Goswamis, Jai Gojai, Jai Tai Mohidas. With firm conviction, we should follow the path of the Goswamis. To obtain Nishta, we need to serve these two Bhagavatas. There's a beautiful section in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which explains how Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda revealed to us the two Bhagavatas. This is in Adi Lila, chapter 1, and that verses 84 till 102. I don't have the exact verses, but you can read these verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, verses 84 till 102 in the first chapter. So Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they removed the darkness of ignorance and the darkness of ignorance is kaitava, the cheating, starting with dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. This is rejected from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So by the grace of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, the darkness of ignorance is removed. We have heard that Lord Krishna is the absolute truth. Prameti Paramatmati Bhagavan, it is Sapyate. And this is achieved by the chanting of the holy name. And then Krishna Kaviraj said a wonderful thing. This is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 1, verse 98. But these two brothers, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, dissipate the darkness of the inner core of the heart. And this they help one to meet two kinds of Bhagavatas, persons of things in relationship with the personality of Godhead. When we meet these two Bhagavatas, what happens then? Through the action of these two Bhagavatas, the Lord instills the mellow of transcendental loving service in the heart of the living being. And what bhakti comes, when bhakti comes into the heart, Krishna comes under control of his devotees. So this is what is happening behind the scenes. If you take the help of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, everything becomes more easier. If you forget Lord Chaitanya, then even easy things becomes very difficult. And if you remember Lord Chaitanya, even difficult things become very easy. So this is required in all steps of our devotional service. Then what happens if almost everything is destroyed? Verse 19. Tatara Chastama Baba Kamala Visayasitera Teranavtam Stit van Satve Pasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established within the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and becomes completely happy. So now we have removed both of the dirty things. Here is specifically Sat, Raja, and Tamaguna. Now we are to the level of Sattva Guna. There are two paths and two ways to come to Sattva Guna. Two ways. One is the gradual process of Varnashram, and the other is Bhakti Marg. And this process is described here. Simply by hearing and chanting, then we can have Krishna in the heart. So Srila Prabhupada, he gives examples how bhakti is superior. If you go to the top of a building, you can go step by step, or you may take the lift. So we are taking the lift. And if you have a desire for but if you have a dense fog, then there may be different ways to get rid of the fog. But the best way is when the sun shines. When we have the sun, the holy name, and Srimad Bhagavatam in our heart, then the fog disappears. Then after ignorance and passion is gone from our heart, Cheter eteranavidam. Cheta means heart. Vidam means then there's the piercing in our heart. And what is piercing in our heart? I must have this. I must enjoy this, hankering and lamenting, the mode of passion and ignorance. We see something to enjoy and we think, let me go for it. We can be peaceful if we are not in the mode of goodness. When we become free from most inauspicious things, the piercing of the heart goes away. Then these problems are gone. I will again refer to Madhurya Kanambina. Madhurya Kanambini, the verse is also quoted. Cheter anavidam. The words eter anavidam, no longer affected by these, indicate that these impurities, some of them present up to the stage of bhava, does not act as an obstacle to bhakti. This means that there is some trace still, but they are not an obstacle to our devotion. so we are not affected by them. Then stitam sattve, we come to the mode of goodness. So in the purport, it is said, so a living being in its normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritual bliss. This state of existence is called Brahma Bhuta, or Atmanandi, or the state of self-satisfaction. This self-satisfaction is not like the satisfaction of the inactive fool. The inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance, whereas the self-satisfied Atmanandi is transcendental to the material state of existence. The stage of perfection is attained as soon as one is fixed in devotional service. Devotional service is not inactivity, but the unalloyed activity of the soul. The soul's activity becomes adulterated in contact with matter, and as such, the diseased activities are expressed in the form of lust, desire, hankering, inactivity, foolishness, and sleep. The effect of devotional service becomes manifest by complete elimination of these effects of passion and ignorance. The devotee is fixed at once in the mode of goodness, and he makes further progress to rise to the position of Vasudeva, or the state of unmixed sattva, or Suddha sattva. And only this Suddha sattva state can one always see Krishna eye to eye, and by dint of pure affection for the Lord. That so the last paragraph, a devotee is always in a mode of unalloyed goodness. Therefore, he harms no one. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. The devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. A devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotees are one and the same. So Srila Prabhupada says, when Srila Prabhupada, because in the Prabhupada he says, inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance. Srila Prabhupada says this is like cats or dogs. They can sit silent sometimes, but it's not a state of self-satisfaction. Our satisfaction is not to be inactive, but how can I serve Krishna more? In Bhagavad Gita also, Brahma Bhuta Pasyanatma, and their life is engaged, and then we are engaged in devotional service. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says also that we have to make progress. So we have to come to the Suddha Sattva. So we have to progress to Suddha Sattva. And if we can do that, then Brahma Darshan, we can see Krishna face to face. Tada, at that time. If you are a true Brahman, then all these unwanted things in the heart will go away. Tada, in relation to verse 18. When you have come to the platform of Nishtha, when you are fixed in devotional service, Nishtha means, now I will dedicate my life to Krishna. One significant thing about verses 17 to 21 is that these verses were quoted by Srila Prabhupada when he first arrived in America, in the Martine Bhagavad Dharma, his prayers. Srila Prabhupada wrote two prayers, Martine Bhagavad Dharma, and the other is a prayer to the lotus feet of Krishna. But he writes these verses in Martine Bhagavad Dharma. So Srila Prabhupada says, I don't know why you brought me here. These people, they are in a mode of passion and ignorance. How can they understand Srimad Bhagavatam? It is impossible. So then we find Srila Prabhupada that I'm simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. then I wish that you may deliver them when you only desire their deliverance. Then only they will be able to understand your message. So by the progress of Srila Prabhupada, we will be able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Although we came from the lowest modes of nature, Srila Prabhupada has his prayers for us. He didn't know who we were. We never met before. Narayani said, it is the mercy that he just went there to America to pick us up. He was not satisfied sitting in Vrindavan doing his bhajan. He left at the age of 70. He quoted this verse, how we will be able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is happening in our hearts and to make us have a change of heart? From verse 6 onwards in this chapter, they are all wonderful verses. We can learn these verses as each of these verses has volumes of meaning. And now text 20. Evam Panchamanasa Bhagavat Bhakti Yogata Bhagavata Vishnamukta Sangasya Jayate. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from material association. Now in this verse we have progressed. Now we are in Suddha Sattva according to the verse and translation by Srila Prabhupada. Evam Panchamanasa, we are happy now, very happy. As we notice from all these verses, everything is happening in the heart. Verse 17 is the cleansing of the heart. The Lord is throwing everything out. Verse 18, the dirty things in the heart are destroyed. Verse 19, Raja and Tama are removed from the heart. One becomes in the mode of goodness. Goodness is established within the heart. Good. And one becomes joyful. And this verse also, Evam Panchamanasa. They are Manaso, Cheta, Redai, they are synonyms, they are all in the heart. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, in Srila Prabhupada in line 5, right? And as soon as one understands that he has nothing to do with matter, he at once ceases his material hankerings and becomes enlivened as a spiritual being. This attainment of success is possible where one is above the modes of passion and ignorance, or in other words, when one is actually a Brahman by qualification. There is a similarity here. Evam Panchamanasa and Brahmabhuta Prashanatma. Srila pointed this out in a lecture. Notice as Prashana and Prashanatma are the same. So after the stage of liberation, when we are completely joyful, all what follows happen. Bhagavat Bhakti Yogata, Bhagavat Tattva Vishyanam. If you are on this level of consciousness, then everything is revealed. Bhagavat Tattva. This enthusiasm, Rupa Goswami says also, Utsa Nisyadatkan, that we need enthusiasm, Nishta, firmly fixed, and patience. In 1972, when Srila Prabhupada was lecturing in Vrindavan, and he came to this verse of nectar of instruction of Rupa Goswami, then he spoke about the enthusiasm of people in Vrindavan to go to Parikram, to take bath in the Yamuna, to go around the Damodar temple when there is Govardhan, Puja. So going around the Damodar temple is the same as doing Parikram. So that is one of the reasons that people want to do Parikram at Radha Damodar temple. So these people were going around and around. And while we were sitting in class hearing about Srila Prabhupada at Radha Damodar temple. So Srila Prabhupada said, see their enthusiasm. They get up at 3 a.m., take a bath in the Yamuna, and then visit all the temples, all 7 temples from early in the morning. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. When you are in Suddha Sattva, when you have realization, Vijnan means not ordinary Jnana, but realized knowledge. So in verse 21, so many things start to happen after this. Pityate Deegante Sityante Savasamsaksyante Sasya Karmanitris Paivat Evatmanis Pare. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. So matter and spirit are tied together in the heart by false ego. This is the heart knot. It is many times described that the knot between male and female is very, very tight. This is also described as a knot first in the Bhagavatam. This is all King Keshavadeva, verse 558. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and the female, one becomes attracted to this body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. So once male and female are tied together with the Hridaya Granthim, the knot of the hearts, then one gets more knots, double knot, triple knot, attracted to the body, home, property, children, and relatives, and wealth, society, friendship, and love, all knots in the heart. See, all of this is cut at once. We simply hear and chant about Krishna, Shimvatasvakata Krishna, and one comes to this level of self-realization. And this is liberation, Mukta Sangyasya Jayati. Your knot is cut and all your doubts are destroyed. Srila Prabhupada gives the example, if you have a chickpea and you sow it in the ground, then it grows into a plant. But if you take the same chickpea and you fry it, then it won't grow. So by hearing and chanting, we are frying our karma. In the purport, we will get some more specific information of Srila Prabhupada. Is going to give us this picture of what is happening in the heart. And it is actually a very modern technology. In the second paragraph, in the Bhagavad Gita 10:11, the Lord says that in order to show special favor to his pure devotees, he personally eradicates the dense darkness of all misgivings by switching on the light of pure knowledge in the heart of the devotee. So we have switches in the heart. The sun of Krishna rises in the heart. So then, therefore, because of the personality of God that's taking charge of illuminating the heart of his devotee, that certainly a devotee engaged in transcendental love cannot remain in darkness. That he comes to know everything of the absolute truth and the relative truths. That the devotee cannot remain in darkness. And because the devotee is enlightened by the personality of God, by his perfect knowledge, is certainly perfect. So this is not the case for those who are speculating about the absolute truth. So perfect knowledge is called parampara, or deductive knowledge coming down from the authority to the submissive oral receiver who is bona fide by service and surrender. To the last paragraph. This enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish spirit from matter, because the knot of spirit and matter is untied by the Lord. So this is a very nice picture. It's giving about what is happening. This knot is called ahankar, and it is falsely obliged, and it falsely obliges a living entity a living being to become identified with matter. That as soon as this knot is loosened, therefore all the clouds of doubts are cleared off. One sees his master and fully engages himself in transcendental loving service of the Lord, making a full termination of the chain of fruitive action. So at that point, we can see our master and start engaging in pure devotional service. So verse 21 brings us to the point that we can see our relationship with Krishna. Now the last verse of today, 22. Atavai kapayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati govantatma prasadanam. The translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlightening to the self. So here we have an order atto. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada commenting on this, therefore, after concluding something, we say therefore. When our argument is strong, we say therefore. So therefore, after hearing about hearing and chanting, etc., we should engage in devotional service. Therefore, all the great transcendentalists, they are engaging in devotional service. Therefore, you should too. This is a very nice conclusion of the section. Engage in devotional service. So what happens after liberation? The knot is finished. Doubts are gone. Karma is finished. What is next? Engage in devotional service, just like you have done before. Before liberation, you engage in devotional service. Now, when all these things are done, what do? You engage in devotional service, still even after liberation. Sakodan Samatichi, Brahma Bhuya Kalpati. This is a very good verse for this section from Bhagavad Gita. Pure devotional service means liberation. Srila Prabhupada said, when you are utterly convinced and all your doubts are finished, then you engage in pure devotional service. You should be convinced that Krishna lifted Govardhan and is unlimited. Srila Prabhupada used the word Kapayo, and this verse relates to the Uttam Adhikar. Nitya Yukta Apasate. The Uttam Adhikar is eternally engaged in devotional service. It starts with hearing and chanting, and it ends with pure devotional service to Krishna, which is eternal. Thank you very much. This was this very important section describing a process of pure devotional service. Any questions, please?
Thank you very much, Maharaj. As you rightly said, these are the important verses. Maharaj, about anartha nivritti, it is many times it is easier to work on our gross anarthas, but the subtle anarthas, many times we don't understand. Also, it is there in our heart. So, what is the right way so that we can quickly progress to remove those?
The subtle anarthas are profit, desire for distinction, pride. That the gross anarthas, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy. So these gross, they will be finished if we come to anartha nivritti. When anartha nivritti is finished, then the subtle may be still there in a subtle form, and that may go up till bhava. Bhava, finally they are finished, and then prema is all gone. That, but like Srila Prabhupada said, if we come to Nishtha, we are 70% pure. Most of these shows are gone. Then we will be then we can be successful in going back to God. And we have just to stick at this process with determination. That yeah, that's an enthusiasm. It is said, and that, but it's subtle, yes. That is not the profit and distinction. That someone says something which is not nice about you and you feel bad. That yeah, that may not be eradicated from in the beginning, of even not after 20, 30 years. You will still feel bad, but you will be able to put it more easily aside. That very quickly. But that shows that this subtle is still there. That but yes, with steadiness we can overcome. Does that help?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay. So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to see you next week. I will try, because next week, Wednesday, I will be in Ujjain. I will have to see what the situation there is, because now in India, yeah, it will be, it's 5:20. That 5:20, so I will have to be online at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. on Wednesday, IST. That I'll try for that. I hope I have good connection there, and that we can discuss the next section.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Jai
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Hare Krishna.